obsession, and orchids. Victor Langley had everything: money, power, influence. But the one thing he couldn't have was her. Elena Moreau was different from the women who usually gravitated toward him. She wasn't impressed by his wealth, his penthouse overlooking the city, or the fact that he could buy anything or anyone he wanted. She was an artist, living in a cramped studio, selling paintings to make ends meet. She barely acknowledged him the first time they met at a gallery. That was the moment Victor became obsessed. At first, it was subtle. He sent expensive flowers, white orchids, her favorite. She never thanked him. He bought every single piece of her artwork at an auction. She returned the check. That only made him want her more. He started appearing wherever she went, not in an obvious way, just enough for her to notice. A coincidental meeting at a cafe, a donation to her favorite art program, a friend of a friend suddenly bringing him to her gatherings. But Elena was no fool. One night, she confronted him at an art gala. "Why are you always around?" she asked, her dark eyes filled with suspicion. Victor smirked, swirling the whiskey in his glass. "Because I find you fascinating." Elena tilted her head. "No, you find me unavailable." He laughed, charmed by her bluntness. "Maybe." She stared at him for a moment before leaning in, her voice barely above a whisper. "You know what's interesting about men like you?" He raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What's that?" She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "You're used to taking, but I'm not something to be bought." Then she turned and walked away. For the first time in his life, Victor Langley had no idea what to do, and that realization, it made him want her even more.